right. So the basic, if you want to win with money, again, we're talking specifically next gen investors, young family. Um, as Luke mentioned, it starts with budgeting, right? Some of this stuff is pretty basic, but this is where the people that are financially successful long term, this is one thing that they do right. And it's not just about doing it right, 1 month. It's doing it right consistently over a long period of time. So the basics is you have to know two things. You have to know what you earn, right? What you have coming in, and then two, what your expenses are, right? So the budget, that's how it's formed. And then you obviously the goal is to live on less than you make. So your budget, a simple example, I'm going to use simple numbers. You make $1,000 a month and your expenses are $500. Then, you got $500 of margin. Now there's two people working. It could be 10x that, we're just giving you simple examples, but best case, what you're doing is you're putting this into a spreadsheet, right? And month in and month out, you're trying to figure out, what does your margin look like? What are you bringing in versus, what are you spending? So what you earn could be very simple, right? If you're a W-2 employee, you're getting a salary, you look at your first couple paychecks and okay, hey, my net number, meaning what's after taxes are taken out, I am getting $2,000 deposited in my account, $5,000, whatever the number is. That's what you start with, right? Now, some people work in jobs where income can fluctuate, and that does make this a bit more challenging. You basically got to use some averages or, assume kind of a conservative number. But then the expense side is you got to know, hey, what's your rent? If you own a home, what's your mortgage? Property, taxes, insurance, all that, car, cell phone, add all that up, and then kind of create, be very decisive on what that margin is. Okay, and then once you know the margin, then we can start to make some decisions about some of these other things that we're going to talk about. But the key to this is being disciplined, doing it consistently, and saying no, right? Unfortunately, we get bombarded with stuff, TikTok, the gram, TV. We're getting bombarded to buy stuff all the time. And so if you want to win financially, right, and you want to stick to this budget, you're going to have to say no. Amazon, right, it's all at our fingertips. Being able to stick to that budget, formulate that budget, and then setting aside money to not only save, but then to do fun things as well. We'll kind of talk more about these things as we get into it. But the point is to start saving, right? That's the important part. And then start investing. Okay. Be a little bit more aggressive in your 20s and 30s. And then as your nest egg grows, then diversify, a little bit further. The big thing here is automate it, right? To pay yourself first. Luke, you mentioned this earlier. Pay yourself first. Automate it through your employer. Before it even hits your checking account, you're already doing that. And then it's just a matter of, okay, what allocations do you have set up? Okay. Now, we did get another question in about what the future of the market looks like. And this came from Joe. So, Joe, thank you for the question. I don't have a crystal ball. So I will make the standard disclaimer, I don't know. But if we look at history, we know that if you have a 40-year time horizon, a 50-year time horizon, which most of the next-gen investors do, right, it's going to be up and to the right. Right now, that's not a guarantee. The world could fall apart. We don't know what the future holds. But when you look at our past, we went through, the Great Depression. We went through, a couple world wars, COVID, the Great Recession, the GFC. Stuff happens, and we know there's going to be volatility. That's the price of entry. Your job is to get as much money in as you can. Your job is to save, invest, diversify, and then wait, right? Be patient. And this is a game for, the slow and steady. Yeah, I mean, let's just start with the simple fact that, estate planning isn't just for multimillionaires, right? I think there's this false pretense that, hey, I gotta make a bunch of money and I gotta be a multimillionaire to get an estate plan. It's just not true. My wife and I went through this. We have three kids as well, and it was tough. This is a difficult process because you do have to make some decisions, write it down on paper, and say, okay, if we die, who do we want to care for our minor children? And man, that was tough for us. That took us a while. And it can
Same.
evolve and change, and we're in the process of doing that right now. But a will is very basic, right? Obviously, trusts are a little bit more complicated. Not everyone is going to need a trust, depending upon the situation. But trusts allow a little bit more control. You can put a lot of stuff into a trust. Um, a power of attorney, which is POA, that's what it stands for, is important for everybody. If you have, if I go into a coma and my wife needs some money from my individual account, she's going to need, a financial power of attorney. Um, she's also, if I'm in a coma, she might also need a healthcare power of attorney as well. So that would allow her to pull money out on the financial side, and then on the medical side, allow her to make some decisions. Just because you're married to someone doesn't mean that automatically that you have that right automatically. This is where that estate planning comes into play. So it's not overly expensive, right? You should sit down. Everyone might need to tweak it a little bit, but you have to get this stuff in order. If you don't, the consequence is this can all be decided by a court and a judge,
Mhm.
which is public. It's lengthy, it takes time, and it just, we've seen a lot of horror stories about estate planning. We won't get into all of them. We wanted to leave some time for Q&A, but get this stuff done, get a basic will, leave your desires, especially if you have kids, figure this out. Healthcare power of attorney, financial power of attorney are a must. And then, as you build wealth, you can kind of start to decide, hey, do we need a trust? Does a revocable living trust make sense? That's where an estate planning attorney can dive into the details. But 529s. So if you have a young family, you got to kind of get yourself figured out first, right? So we got the emergency fund, we've paid off debts, we got most of our student loans paid off. Now we're having kids. Now it's like, okay, we got to start thinking about college expenses, right? We're saving in our 401k. We got some of that basic stuff already done. Now it's like, okay, where do we go? This is where we start looking at 529s, right? We know that education is expensive. It can be beneficial. We believe in starting that early and often. In the state of Wisconsin, there is a tax benefit if you use a in-state sponsored plan. That benefit right now for 2025 is up to $5,130 per student. That you get that deducted on the state side. Obviously, you have to have your other affairs in order. But contributing makes sense. $100 here, $100 there. Automate that as well. Get it started early and often.
In 2026, our client events are being scheduled as we speak. Our next event will be on January 21st. It's a Wednesday night, and it will cover a financial market outlook. If you do want to attend this event, please sign up on our website. And if you have any friends or family that you think might be interested, they're more than welcome to attend as well. We organize these events to bring value to clients and the community. And your referrals amplify our events and help our impact go beyond just those at WDS. So, on behalf of Luke and I, as well as everyone at WDS, we want to thank you for joining. We're grateful for all of you. We hope that you have a joyful and healthy holiday season. And with that, we'll see you at next month's event. Thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your evening.